So today I'm going to talk about my time in juvenile hall. It was when I was 13 years old. I was having a lot of problems with mental illness. I was diagnosed and re-diagnosed multiple times with bipolar 2, severe depression, anger management issues, anxiety issues, a lot of problems. Well, I was placed in multiple mental hospitals for suicidal attempts and ideations, and it was not very fun. Well, after leaving my second mental hospital, I started having a mental breakdown a couple weeks after. Like, I got really depressed. I was contemplating suicide, and I decided to tell my parents about it. And they immediately took me to our local ER to have me psychologically evaluated. And while they were evaluating me, they said that they were going to send me to another mental hospital. And I was not going to have it. It was too much. I can't stand them. Just the hospitals alone are depressing because you're there with other psychotic people. So I started having a panic attack, so I just left the hospital. I went down the elevator, walked right out. I didn't run away or anything. I just kind of stood outside the front. Well, they called the police. The police officer came and he started talking to me, saying how he didn't have any grounds to arrest me. And I told him I wanted to be arrested because there was no way I was going back home with my parents. I didn't know what they were going to do to me because my parents were pretty abusive. So he said there's nothing he could do, and I was like, fine. So I poked him on his vest, and I got arrested for that. They considered it disturbing the peace with intent to assault a police officer. I was arrested and thrown in the juvenile hall in Yuma County, Arizona. I was placed in cell block C, and I didn't get a regular cell like the rest of the people. I got the suicide cell, which is basically for suicidal people, and they put you in this thing called the pickle suit. The pickle suit was like a big kind of felt blanket, except a little bit thicker, with just armholes and a head hole, and you were completely naked underneath. You were not allowed to wear clothes, and they never washed this thing, and other people used it, so you were sharing like nakedness with other guys, and people had pissed and shit in it, and it was just really gross. You had to spend 24 hours in that thing. You had to sleep in it, you had to eat in it, everything. And once you were out of it, they just left you in the same cell. I was left in the suicide cell my entire time. I spent 49 days in juvenile hall, and it was the biggest turnaround I've ever had in my life. Because of my experience in juvenile hall, it actually set my head on straight. Now, I didn't completely change right away. I still went to 2 more mental hospitals after that, but it's the thing that really opened my eyes. I couldn't stand it there. My first day in court, I am put in handcuffs and shackles, and I go to the courtroom with everybody else. We're all lined up, walking by. The first thing the judge says to me is, "You have a baby face. I don't like baby faces." And I was like, okay, geez, calm down, chill. But she was completely serious. The regular court hearing went on as usual, and I left. My lawyer came and talked to me, said they were going to put me away until I was 18 years old. And the charges were coming from my parents. My own parents were pushing charges against me. I was 13 years old, gonna spend the rest of my days until I was 18 in a jail cell because I was mentally unstable. Shows you what kind of parents I have. So it was like, if you ever meet somebody that's been to jail and they tell you this food is bad, don't think they're exaggerating, because they're not. The food is horrible. Like the rolls, they were like crusty on the outside but gooey on the inside. They weren't even cooked all the way through. And I would point that out to my DO, the detention officer, and he would say, "Oh, it's okay, just go get another tray." So I would get another tray, and it would be the same thing. And everybody in our block, same thing. Rolls were not cooked all the way through. They were just a little crusty on the outside. It was disgusting. But that wasn't even the worst part. At lunchtime, they would just kind of give us food through our cell doors, and it was peanut butter and jelly, expired milk, and usually like a fruit cup and a spoon. Well, the peanut butter and jelly, I would not eat it. I would not drink the expired milk either. I ended up losing so much weight from this juvenile hall, which I guess is a good thing. But the peanut butter and jelly, the peanut butter, it was chunky. It had little beads in it. I don't know what that is. I didn't know if it was supposed to be there or not. But just thinking about it makes me feel sick to my stomach. I would not eat it. I would just leave it all at my door and then give it back and throw it away when they came by for us to throw our stuff away. Well, the biggest experience that actually changed my life in juvenile hall, it wasn't the court hearing. It wasn't the part where my parents pressed charges against me. It wasn't the bad food. It was this guy. I don't remember his name, but he was the closest thing I had had to a friend in years. He was this Mexican kid. I was 13. He was 17 years old. He was in there for murdering his parents. Now, he never told me exactly why he killed his parents, because we didn't actually really talk, but I heard from other inmates that it was because he found his parents that had just murdered his siblings. They drowned an infant, and then they were about to decapitate his little sister, his other little sister, and he killed them both. His parents were in the cartel, and they were told to do it, so they were gonna do it. Well, he killed them. Now he's in jail, and he does not regret it one bit. He is completely fine with everything, just knowing that his little sister is still alive. He said he wishes that his other sibling was alive, and that was it. He didn't actually tell me himself about the whole murdering his parents. I heard that from another inmate, but he would always talk about his little siblings, and it was weird, because you would think a murderer would be like kind of more of a hard ass, wouldn't really talk about emotions and shit, but no. The reason why I consider him the closest thing I had to a friend in years, since like 5th grade, was because in the courtyard, let me let you know, the courtyard is extremely small. Like, imagine your own bedroom, make it a little bit longer lengthwise by maybe 3 feet. That was our courtyard, and they had a basketball hoop. It didn't have a backboard, it just had the little rim and no net, and we got a halfway deflated ball, and the rest of it was just a straight brick wall, and there was like 15 of us in that little area, and we would just play basketball. Now, I was a really fat kid, I was really slow, wasn't good at basketball because I'm white, but one day, that Mexican guy, he got the ball, and he just kind of stopped dribbling, turned around, and handed me the basketball. That was the biggest act of kindness I had ever felt. I don't know why, but it really struck home with me. And I shot the ball, and I missed. But it wasn't the fact that I missed that didn't bother me. It was the part that he actually took the time to stand up, turn around, and give me the ball. It's just something so small that has changed my life. Even though he was a murderer, I don't blame him. I am comfortable around him. I don't even know why he would do it. I was just some little fat white kid with long hair in juvenile hall for disturbing the peace. And I don't know. Still to this day, I wonder why he did it. But if I were to ever meet him again, I would thank him, because he changed my life. I consider him my longest best friend, even though we weren't really considered friends. That was the biggest act of kindness. I know I keep saying that, but that's all I can say. He man, I wouldn't say he's my role model, but I look up to him. I don't know why. Thanks.